All right, welcome to another episode or installment of Ask a Christian Strength Coach. If this is the first time on this channel, my name is Coach Tim. Been strength coaching, dieteticking, nutrition coaching, and just coaching in general for over 15 years. This is my lovely wife. I brought her in today to help with the views. So if you think my wife's hot, comment below, like, subscribe, do all the things for Instagram. YouTube. We're on YouTube. But without further ado, we're going to jump into another listener question segment, and today it's going to be a little different. Hopefully you learn a thing or two, but this is going to be all just embarrassing life lessons that I've learned. So my wife is going to drill me with all kinds of questions, and hopefully you get some laughs, and maybe you don't do the stupid things that I've done.
I just get to read the questions, but I'm excited to see if I learned something new about my husband today. Okay, so first question on this holiday roast edition. Tim, what's the most reckless supplement decision you've ever made that had you Googling, is this normal at an hour when no man should be awake?
So are we talking about just like supplements or like stuff that is maybe not legally sold as supplements?
I don't know, maybe one of each.
Okay, so we'll start with the actual supplement. And this is a weird one because, like, when I was younger, I tolerated this supplement so well. And that supplement is yohimbine hydrochloride.
Okay.
So yohimbine, for your guys' information, if you haven't used it, it's actually a pretty potent, fat burner. But it acts as I guess it's an alpha, what do they call it? The beta 2 is clenbuterol. Beta 1 receptor agonist. That's a really fancy way of saying it. Binds to it's actually the alpha receptor site on the fat cells. Little fun little note here is it also gives you erections. It was sold as like what is that the right word? Fertility drug or a fertility supplement because it helps blood flow to certain parts of the body. That's not what I was taking. I was taking a Dietline. And shoot, before I was like 28 years old, I could run that sucker up to like 20 milligrams a day, like no problem. It just makes you feel like a ton of energy and you felt great. And it actually was a very potent fat burner. It really seems to be effective around the areas that are your trouble spots. So for me, it really helped around my butt, my lower glutes and upper hamstrings.
If you know him, you know he talks about that when he's close to prep.
And most bodybuilders, that's the last thing to come in. So, but gosh, when I turned 30, for some reason, my body just threw up the middle finger to yohimbine hydrochloride, which, mind you can buy this stuff on Amazon. It's super, like, just over-the-counter stuff. It's really potent, and the side effects were just horrendous. And at the time, I was doing online coaching, but I was a sales rep for an online coach. So I was, getting like new clients or new prospects that would come in. I would reach out to them, I'd call them and talk to them, and I literally had to cancel work for the day because I couldn't talk. I was like chattering, like I was shaking so bad on 2.5 milligrams, so almost a tenth of the dose that I would normally take. And I was like, what the hell, is this like a bad batch, or did they mix it with meth, or what happened? Like it's horrendous. Like my heart was racing, and the damn thing has like a 12-hour half-life. So like that night, I took it at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and like that night, it was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm still sitting there just like heart beating out of my chest. And
so were you Googling things at this point?
Oh my gosh, I'm like, what is, I was actually Googling like the brand of yohimbine, like is this company been in trouble for like spiking their stuff with, what was the 1,3-dimethyl aspartic acid was like in the Jack 3D.
I would never know.
It was like basically like crack. They sold in pre-workouts. But it wasn't. Apparently like 1 out of 3 people develop an intolerance to yohimbine. So I could never take that stuff again. So that's the supplement that I took that was a terrible, terrible experience. And I don't care. I'd rather do another hour or 2 of cardio.
Sounds like it. It makes it really hard to function when you're at that point. And if you don't know him, he talks fast enough as it is, so I cannot imagine.
I couldn't get words out.
Oh.
I couldn't even write notes. My hand was shaking so bad.
Huh.
Yeah, and it lasted until I didn't fall asleep that night.
Yeah.
I was so dead the next morning. Do more cardio. Don't
try that.
Yeah, unless you're one of the people that tolerates it well.
Okay, so question number 2 is, what's a diet phase you ran where you were technically lean but absolutely should not have been allowed in public, near family, or at Christmas gatherings?
A diet phase or like a whole segment of my life?
For those who don't know him, there are
knows
whole
it.
segments of his life that this applies.
Yes. So in my, my early 20s, when I first became a bodybuilder, I set my mind on doing a competition. And I think I dieted for like 12 weeks for that show. Did terrible. Dead last. I was not in shape and I didn't have nearly as much muscle as I thought I did. I was all of 21 years old. So as soon as that show was done, I was like, all right, I got tons of work to do. And so I started this crazy torrent of like 2-a-day training sessions.
So this is after your show, actually. Okay.
Because it wasn't easy for me, and I got dead last, and I hate being dead last. So I'm like, I'm gonna
very competitive.
Mind you, I was like, I'm gonna be a pro. Like I need to put in the work. So I was doing double day training sessions, and I started just being crazy neurotic with my food. I didn't cheat, like period, have any off plan meal for like 3 years, and that was during that time frame. I hooked up with a personal trainer. I'm not gonna call him a coach, and he was like, you need to eat 16 ounces of red meat every 2 hours, steak. Couldn't be beef. Couldn't be ground beef.
This was way before prices went up, by the way, or he wouldn't have been able to afford this.
I actually ended up getting a steak sponsor at the time from
You never told me that.
a rancher in Modoc County. Yeah, he sponsored me with like half a steer per year. So it was like
That was nice.
Yeah, no rhyme intended. It was half a steer a year, but I blew through that so fast. That was only like maybe a month. It was so bad. So I have 16 ounces of cooked steak every 2 hours. And it was only like the lean cut, so like London broil, eye of the round. I got petite sirloins, but I had to like cut off all the visceral fat. And then either asparagus or broccoli. And I would alternate an asparagus beef meal with a broccoli beef meal. And it was every 2 hours that I was awake. That was what I'd eat. And I did that for not that full 3 years, because the first part of it I was eating a little bit more like a bro, so like egg whites and oatmeal and like chicken breast and rice. But the last 2 years of that,
that's not much gut diversity.
so it didn't matter if I was at Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, my birthday, 16 ounces of beef and broccoli or asparagus. I never missed.
I thought 32-week prep this year with no off-plan meal was difficult to be around him. I'm glad I didn't know him during that.
I'm glad I was pretty single that time too. I don't have anybody to corroborate this, but I'm sure the farts were absolutely just terrible.
Oh gosh, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 3 is, be honest, what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done in the gym that you still pretend didn't happen when you see those people?
So I don't really have a pretend it doesn't happen side of this, but when you've been in the gym as long as I have, there's plenty of really embarrassing things. So I'll give you 2 stories. One from before I knew you, and one from this year. So, because it happens all the time. I have so many stories. So several years ago, this had to have been like a decade ago. No, I was probably like 27, 28, so maybe like 7 years ago. I was push pressing. So push press is kind of like an overhead press, but you get a little bit of leg drive out of it. This is before my real bodybuilding days. Yeah. And I had 405 on the push press, which is a decent chunk of weight for a push press.
Okay.
And at American Iron, which is in Reno, Nevada, there's the squat racks are kind of like side by side, but these were like half racks. So they weren't like the full racks, not the cages. And so I unrack it. I didn't used to use clamps. So I unrack it, and there's someone next to me that's squatting. And I'm, hitting it. I was doing like sets of like 3. And one of the sets, one of the weights fell off the side of my left side, and it catapulted the barbell. And literally the person was squatting, and it went right in front of their face. With so as the four plates were pulling down this way, all of that force was like catapulting the other side of the barbell like a freaking baseball bat right in front of that person's face, and they just turned ghostly white. And I was so embarrassed because I could have killed that person.
Yes.
A lesson learned, I always use clamps. Always.
If I was that person, anytime I saw you in the gym after that, I would be like, nope, I'll come back in 2 hours.
Do you remember the friend I told you that was from Trinidad and Tobago? Or Tobago? That was the person that was squatting next to me. He was so big, he probably could just grab it and be like...
At least he was a big guy.
He
was like a little person.
But yeah.
So what about the recent one?
The recent one is hilarious. It's actually just hilarious. And I already told you about this one, so that's why I did a second. But I want you guys to know it too, because it is really funny. So I have this routine at the Muscle Factory when we go to the gym. I go to the bathroom first thing. I pee, I spit my nicotine out in the trash can, and then I train. That's like how I do it. And I must have
He's
been
very regimented for those
2
who don't
or
know.
3 weeks out from a show.
Oh,
And I walked into the bathroom, and I walked over to the trash can, and I pulled my penis out like I was gonna pee, and I still had the nicotine in my mouth. And I'm like, I looked down and I'm like, oh, this is the wrong order. I didn't pee, by the way. I didn't actually pee in the trash can. But I looked down and I was like,
Move over, Rover.
and then I moved. I was gonna do it in the reverse order, and so I came out and I told her, I was like, that might have been the dumbest thing I've ever done in my
He
life.
felt so bad about it. He felt so bad that he told me, even though he didn't do it, he was like, I was so nervous that what if I hadn't caught myself? I'm like,
I would have
you
had
would've
to
just dealt with
like
it.
just
We
take the trash can home
Yes.
and throw it away. But I also thought it was hilarious. And
Almost forgot
when
about
you do
that.
stupid things, sometimes you just gotta tell people because they make for really good stories.
They really do.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what you got for this one. What's a supplement you swore was game changing that ended up only changing your digestive system and your relationship with humility?
There's a few. So I'm trying to pick the best one. There's so many. First off, supplements are 99% just worthless. Outside of like your nutritional stuff, like whey protein, creatine, glutamine, vitamin D3, like the very basic stuff. Most supplements are garbage. But I remember once I got really taken by. There was a guy who wrote a blog on myostatin, and I don't know if you're familiar with myostatin.
I've heard you talk about it.
So myostatin is this gene that we have that suppresses muscle growth. A good example of a myostatin deficiency is if you ever look up the Belgian blue, which is a type of cattle that are born without the myostatin gene, their muscles just unencumbered, they just keep growing. And they don't even train. They don't train or they don't use tren. It doesn't matter. They just keep growing. And so I was reading this article on, I guess it was a blog, because he came out with like weekly like articles on this thing on his site. And I don't remember the doctor's name. Probably was a chiropractor, let's be honest. But it was all about, they found this myostatin, like basically blocker. Yeah. And to my knowledge, there's no such thing as a myostatin blocker. So like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to get my hands on this myostatin blocker. But he did this for like, it was great marketing, because he did this over the course of like 5 weeks. He would drop like several articles a week, and you would just get like, he was a good writer too. Like you'd read all about it.
Reading all the things.
And by the end of it, he had, it was basically a sales pitch at the end. And so I got to the end of this, and it was basically this powder that was like $199, so expensive. And it was pure, it came from the yolk of fertilized eggs.
Okay.
And his logic was super, like, it made sense, right? Like once the egg gets fertilized, like shit just grows. So like they isolated that part that triggers the growth.
Supposedly.
Oh, it is complete bullshit. But I don't even know what was in the supplement. Like it was a yellow powder, because it probably colored it, because it probably needed to look like egg yolk. And it tasted like chalk and Indian food and burnt hair if they all had a baby.
The only thing I remember about this story is him saying it tasted so gross, and he didn't even finish it. He actually threw it away.
I threw it away, and it literally, I had explosive diarrhea for like.
You did leave that part out. I don't think you told me before that it gave you bad diarrhea.
So bad, all night long. And I lost weight.
So here's the other question. How many days did you use said supplement before you stopped and were like,
Well, I had to give it a good trial. I mean, it was.
this is what I know. That's why
It was at least a week I used it.
Gosh.
And I followed it to the T, like, because you spend $200 on a supplement, you're like, okay, what's the label say? All right, I'm gonna do that. Okay, after a couple days, okay, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna add a little bit, because of a little bit.
Because the guy,
it's gotta be
you
better.
should
Maybe it was
also
underdosed.
Yeah.
No, the diarrhea just got worse. That's all happened.
Okay, number 5.
I wish I could remember the name of the brand, because it literally was like a pump and dump. Like it disappeared faster than it came. It was like I've never seen it since.
Yeah. Okay, what's the most unhinged discipline move you've made around the holidays that felt righteous at the time but was actually insane?
So,
I feel like he's probably got quite a few of these.
Yeah,
actually.
but I'm trying to just disseminate between unhinged and just like that was just a bad idea. So and this has nothing to do with fitness, and more to do with I guess mental toughness. So when I opened my gym, I had a New Year's challenge that I was running, and so we had these ads out, people were signing up, and it was like one of those, like you pay a certain amount of money, and then if you hit like 20 pounds weight loss, like you get your money back kind of challenges. And the ads took off. I had like crazy amount of sales calls. I was actually up here in Montana, and my gym was back in Reno. And so I told myself, I'm like, all right, and I had a goal of 50 signups that I needed to hit. And I told myself I wasn't going to eat until I hit 50. And thinking like, what? You have like 15, 20 a day? You're probably 3-4 days you'll have.
For those who don't know Tim, he has, homeboy loves to eat and he has major food noise.
So I started my fast on Saturday, meaning I just didn't eat Saturday. And I drove home from here on Saturday. So that didn't count. And then Sunday, again, I was just prepping. And then Monday was my first sales call. It took me until freaking Tuesday of, so what is that? Saturday through Saturday would be 7 days, 8 days, 9 days, 10 days, 11 days to hit that 50. And I learned a lot about fasting during this time because the longest fast I'd done up in that point was 24 hours. And I was like...
You went from 1 day to like 11?
Yes. And the psychological cycle,
3 days.
the psychological cycle is very interesting. The first 2.5 days are brutal. Like you're hungry as hell. And then once, I imagine once you kick into ketosis, your brain starts running on ketones, you feel good. And actually the hunger like disappears. You feel actually really good. Like mentally super sharp. You're not like hungry at all. I was still training every single day during that period of time. And then
that I probably would not have advised. But...
around day 5 or 6, then you just start getting shaky and your brain starts getting weird. And so like by the end, I was like, I don't know, ADD times 10. But I did it. And then when I reintroduced food, I was super hungry, obviously, because the hunger starts building like exponentially once you get on the back end of that. And I remember having like, it was a healthy meal, but it was actually kind of a normal sized meal. It was like potatoes, beef, vegetables, and then I had some fruit. And my stomach hurt so bad. It was like, and then you read afterwards, like you should reintroduce food if you went that long with like, I don't know, like pureed yams or like soft fruit or like yogurt, but very small portions because your stomach has just like shrank so much that you just don't have a lot of capacity to move food. Yeah. So, but it was crazy. I didn't keep track of my weight. I didn't keep track of nothing during that time. I was just like, I was dead set on that goal. Yeah. So that might have been a little unhinged.
Okay. So this should be good. What's a Tim quirk that I immediately clocked as nonsense, but let you ride out because correcting you would take more energy than it's worth?
Well, by definition, I don't have quirks. So maybe, well, what am I supposed to say? That's just who I am. Like my idiosyncrasies are, nobody notices their own, right? Like, okay, so maybe I have one that you can tell me if I'm in the right direction. So I'm a super nerd.
That's another reason I was interested in this, how he answers for me.
I'm a super nerd, so I love like astrophysics and like black holes and quantum mechanics and like just stuff that, you know, makes most people's heads like just...
And he's not kidding. Like
blow up or they just tune out completely.
Yeah.
And so I will take naps occasionally. And when I take naps, I can't sleep if it's quiet, ironically, because at night I need to be like perfectly quiet. But during the day, it's like my brain is running like a million miles an hour. So I turn on like, it's actually called Astrum. It's like I think it's an awesome channel. But it's all like deep dives into space. Ever. Yes. And I'm sure that's something that you're like, I'm not going to fight him on this at all. Am I right?
Yes, because you literally could not sleep without it, but like I would have to leave because I can't sit there and listen to it. I can't be around. It does not put me to sleep. It just drives my anxiety through the roof.
What's one for you? What would you say? A quirk? A Timuendo?
I don't know. You didn't give me time to prep for this. I don't know, because if it was like strong enough, I did fight you on it.
She's just as strong as I am.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little harder.
Let me think on that. If I think of something, I'll come back to it. All right. What's a moment where you were so locked into work, training, or optimizing life that you had to I had to lovingly bring you back to planet Earth?
So this one's not really a funny question. I think this is actually a really good conversation that that you guys can take a lot of value from. And it was this year, and I'll actually tell you, or have you tell your side of the story. When we sat down, I think it was 6 weeks out from my competition, and you're like, we need to talk, that phrase that every husband loves to hear. And you said, like, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Tell your side of that story, and then I'll tell what my response was to that, and how we pivoted hard.
Yeah.
To avoid that, to stop that.
Well,
and be real. Like, this isn't
yeah.
funny. This is like great learning opportunity for anybody, because guys get super locked in on work.
Right.
Or
I was
whatever
gonna say,
they're
it doesn't
focused
have to
on.
even be prep. It can
No,
just be,
it's interchange anything you're passionate about or driven towards.
Yeah. No, I just knew that you were just completely unavailable, not engaged, robotic, and everything. I felt like you didn't even see me over here.
Yeah. So like
me and Marie were doing our
intimacy,
thing.
like you didn't feel pursued.
Like no
You
hugs
didn't
in the
feel
morning,
sexy.
no conversation. Oh yeah, none of that. You were just kind of in your own world, and like that's important. Like you can't have a relationship if like that's not there. And obviously you weren't feeling that, or I didn't know. Maybe there was something like wrong on your side, or you felt like something was off, and that's why you weren't. I didn't know, but I knew that it wasn't wise for us to keep going down that road.
Well, you must have felt it for long enough to address it. It wasn't like a day.
Oh, it had been months.
Yeah. So she sat me down, and I can be this way. And I know I'm not speaking alone, because a lot of dudes are the same way. When we get locked in on a goal, we can get like tunnel focused. And when she said, "Hey, like let's talk, we need to talk. I'm not okay." And like, if you love your wife, or just anybody, it doesn't have to be your wife, but like your best friend, your parents, if your dog could talk to you, your dog. Like that should sting a little bit. That should be like a wake up call, right? And so I really wanted to hear her heart on what she meant by "I'm not okay. This has to change," because I wasn't aware that I was having this effect. I was just working my butt off, and I thought I was just like killing it, like doing a really good job on the X's and O's, right? And so after we had a conversation around that, I really just wanted to hear like what was going on in your heart, what you were seeing from me. What became very clear was I was so invested mentally and emotionally into my competition that I was, even when I was with you, I was just mentally still working out or planning the next meal or thinking about the show, my posing, like everything that wasn't in the
But
moment,
we really
right?
didn't have conversations outside of work or like, I'm going to the grocery store, what do you need? Like nothing else really was in conversation at that point.
So, and in the moment, like the tactical things that we did to get out of that was we agreed on a couple things.
Yeah.
Because when you're in prep, this is just like honesty time. Like there's no excuse to be selfish, but there is a level where you will just get tired, right? Your body fat's super low. You're the amount of work
You only
that you
have
have
so
to do
much
in a
energy
day.
and mental capacity.
Yeah, you start to get really frail mentally and just physically, for lack of a better word, and mostly just around energy. That's the main thing. That's like the most like finite resource that you have. So it's easy to like push off like date night or our walks that we take and like catch up on the day and just how like not with the phones, not with work, just like what you're thinking about, what you're dreaming about, like what bothers you today, like what you're excited about, like all the things that like normal friends talk about,
Right.
Basically what I'm trying to say is you stop being a friend, you start being a roommate, and you start being a business partner. Mm-hmm. And so the few things that we did to get through that last part of prep was daily having dinner together.
Yep.
And praying before dinner, like saying grace before dinner, praying before we went to bed every single night, and then attending like church on Sundays, whether it was virtual or in person. And I think the last
we had done that until like a month or two before, and he
that fell
wanted to
off
find
big time.
a different church or whatever, and then it just got to like I couldn't get him back in.
Yeah, I was just more of a fatigued. It's just like oh my gosh, overwhelming to like even just do the research to find a church.
And then we also set like
that was
a walk,
yes,
like an evening walk.
Yes.
As long as we had time to.
We had dinner and then we went on a walk afterwards. And those like two habits, and I'm not saying those are the answer, those were Band-Aids to help us to get through that last 6
bridge.
weeks.
It was a catalyst.
And then the actual core change was like, how are you approaching these competitions?
Yeah.
Like and this is something that we're still working through, which is, were they your freaking identity? Like, does your success as a human being, as a man, like rise or fall based off how you do in these competitions? And the answer was yes. And we have to change that if we're going to compete again. And so until you, like our best friend, Devon, he just won his IFBB Pro card, won nationals overall. He's a great example of like...
He has this mastered.
He is him regardless if he
kids.
got first place or last place. It doesn't freaking matter. He's going to be him. And he cares about the things he always cares about. He's got
Relationships
kids.
do not suffer
Nothing
because
suffers.
of choices that he made.
And I know that if he misses he doesn't ever miss a meal, but if like he's like 20 minutes off on a meal or an hour off on a meal, he's not getting stressed out. He's like, whatever. Like I'm gonna still get it in. I don't care. And I'm the opposite of that. I'm like very like
5
neurotic.
minutes. If you wanted to have a conversation or something and you pushed him off 5 minutes, he was.
So there's a lot of now just addressing what the core root of that same problem was post show.
Right.
Of like, okay, so now I'm just training like a meathead now and just trying to get jacked, and then I'll get lean and then get jacked again, and like just like most people now without the competition at the end date.
Yeah.
Really working on that core of like this competition is not my identity.
Yeah. And for significant others out there, I think it's really important to like bring up, this was not the first time I brought it up, probably like 2 months prior, like a piece of it.
Really
like I was going to say, I
conversation.
brought up a piece of it, just kind of like, hey, like, you know, little nugget, and you were very defensive at that one, but then when we had like the sit down that you're talking about here, you were actually very like receptive to it.
Well, my heart just hurt because I hated hearing that you were hurt.
And the second thing is when you do have those conversations, bring solutions to the table. Be like, hey, what if we did this? You know, like I brought up the dinners together would be really important to me. That, you know, you go for walks in the evening anyway. Can we go? And part of it is he doesn't like for us to take Rue with us because she likes to pull, and she doesn't do good with both of us. She does great with either of us. Yeah. But the family walks, it's like she's so excited, but she doesn't know which human to go to. And it's just like Rue.
Yeah, she's Rue. I love that to death.
Anyways,
yeah, but I think that could be honestly like a whole topic on.
I was gonna say that could be.
I didn't want to glaze over that as like a just a funny haha moment.
Right. No, I think that's good. Okay, so number 8. What's the pettiest or most traumatic internal monologue you've had over food? Like a grown man negotiating with himself over a cookie.
Boy.
Would you even remember?
Oh no, I don't know if this. It's the word petty throws me off here. Ridiculous, stupid, like immature. So that during not that 3-year season that I was super
beef
locked
and asparagus, more or less.
Yeah, but that the next prep I did after that same coach, he had like a rule. We would do cheat meals only when he said it was okay, and it was always sushi.
Okay.
And you would eat the meal first, and then you would go straight to the gym to work off the cheat meal. Right. So we go to eat sushi. You know, I'm a big eater, so I get like maybe like 8 rolls, 10 rolls, sometimes more.
That would deter me from.
And then go straight to the gym, and sometimes those sessions were like 3-4 hours long, because in my mind I had to work off every gram calorie that I consumed. Mm-hmm. AKA, this is what you call anorexia nervosa.
Or disordered.
Yeah, this is an eating disorder, full swing. But that I would say that was probably the worst. Like,
so it's the internal monologue post eating.
Yeah, like no, you fat ass, like you're gonna have to work every single piece of this off. You let yourself, eat that food, even though I was told to eat that food. It was like, no, you got to earn those carbs, bro.
Felt
you
like
got to
that
earn
was
them
like,
carbs. Yeah.
And that's one reason, like, we incorporate a lot of that with our coaching, and we sense that, but we'll ask questions too. I can't tell you how many people that we've worked with that have had some sort of eating disorder in the past, or they really struggle, and
it's so much more common than people want to admit.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that's something that you struggle with and you feel like you've not been able to be open and honest with the coach, reach out, because that's a super big part of what we do. And I think some of my favorite, I wouldn't even say check-ins, it's just random messages that we get from people is those successes, especially around the holidays. Yeah. Like we had, I won't name names, but somebody sent me one yesterday about just how hard this week had been. It's Christmas week, if you're watching this like 2 years later. But she's got goodies at work all week and really struggles with that. And we had a plan coming out of Thanksgiving as to how she would attack that. But just super proud of her for,
And also, meanwhile, through that entire time.
And then it makes her so confident
she's like
and empowered.
28 pounds down in like the last 3 months. Yeah, and not carrying that food guilt, which is super crazy.
Yep. Okay. What is a fitness belief you defended way too hard in the past that you now know, looking back and thinking, yeah, I was loud and very wrong? I'm sure there's several.
And honestly, like, I think the crux of this is that the real lesson is not to be married to any one like belief or methodology.
Yeah.
But as you grow and progress as an athlete or a coach or just as a human, you should have things you look back on and be like, I can do it. I do it
That means
better
you
now.
grew.
That means you grew and
something.
you learned something. So like, I don't think that's negative, but like how,
Some people will take it to the grave, man.
oh yeah. Again,
Yeah.
it comes back to that identity. It's like food and religion, people just will fight to the death on.
Yeah.
But probably the silliest one that it kind of dovetails off of that last like story that I told about sushi and cheat meals was more or less around like your carbohydrate needs, and like carbs were only for like hard exertion, and like outside of like, so I would only eat carbs around my workout window to fuel and then to refuel, and then the rest of the day was like you don't
You're
eat
not
carbs.
allowed carbs.
It wasn't I firmly believe that like you have to earn your carbs. And for someone who's incredibly overweight or maybe obese, that might be a really good like at least strategy, but it's not a dogma. It's not belief.
Yeah.
Right? Because some of my best shapes I've ever been in, like even this last show, I mean, I was easily under 4% body fat, like peeled to the bone, and still eating 450 grams of carbs per day. Yeah, like there's no real one size fits all approach. We need all the macronutrients, and carbohydrates are our most powerful weapon when it comes to building muscle.
Yeah, that's always like the best thing when I have somebody go through a DNA report and they're like, I can eat carbs again. Like I'm not going to get fat if I eat carbs. And I'm like, no, please, Jesus, eat some carbs.
Yes.
Okay. Last but not least, if I was reading this question and paused to laugh before finishing it, what do you know I was about to ask you about?
Something about dogs. See, I'm right. You know I'm right. See, you know I'm freaking right.
Hard.
It's not even hard.
He can like be so serious. And
here's the flip side. I could be on my phone, like scrolling, and then I'll stop and be like I'll like giggle, or
and I'm like, what dog are
I'll
you
go,
looking at?
Aw. And she's like, you can't have another dog. Like just out of the other room.
I know.
And I'm like, how does she know I was looking at dog stuff? I will have another dog.
Yes,
I know.
I didn't say I'm opposed.
Speaking of
Q, she's like, guys, I think we had this discussion.
This is why.
No
this
babies
is why.
and no other doggos.
This is why I look at dog videos. It's because she's the best.
She's like, hey guys, it's been too long. It's time for you to wrap this up, and we can go on adventures.
Yes.
You can't see her right now. Her ears perked up, and she does this.
You coming up?
You gonna sign off?
There's the baby girl.
You gonna sign off?
All right. From the Cruz family, this has been Ask a Christian Strength Coach Holiday
Christmas
Edition. And with a cameo from
The Wiggles.
Ruby. All right. Have a good night, guys. Make sure, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and drop your questions for next week so that way I can answer them. All right.